Lewis Hamilton has had a pretty tough start to life at Ferrari. He's struggled to settle into a team which he joined in search of an 8th World Championship title, and despite a couple of moments of promise, last weekend's Spanish Grand Prix was his lowest point at the team so far. Lewis was passed late on by Nico Hulkenberg in a Sauber, a car which has consistently been the worst on the grid for the past few years now. Hamilton was at an all-time low after the race, and concerns about his performances are starting to grow. Today, I'll check out Nico Hulkenberg's incredible race, which saw Lewis Hamilton reach a self-proclaimed low, so don't go anywhere. When Nico Hulkenberg joined Formula One back in 2010, he had the entire sport trying to predict how far he would go. After an incredible career as a junior driver, many thought he would be in contention for world championships throughout his career. Sadly for Hulk, it never quite happened for him. He was often linked with moves to top teams. He almost got the Mercedes seat ahead of Lewis Hamilton, and he came close to a Ferrari move as well, but he was always passed over for someone else. Sadly, he got stuck in midfield teams for his entire career, and consequently, never quite made the impression that many people expected him to. It was sad to see someone who is obviously so incredibly talented without a permanent seat by 2020. After years of hanging on as a reserve driver and impressing with solid stand-in performances, his return to the sport has shown exactly why he should never have been written off. An outstanding season last year for Haas is now being backed up by some shockingly good results for Sauber. A 7th place finish at the challenging season opener was the performance of a true F1 veteran, but his performance in Spain last weekend was absolutely show-stopping. The weekend got off to a rocky start for Hulkenberg as he failed to get out of Q1 in qualifying on Saturday. It was the 5th time in 9 race weekends that he was outpaced by his rookie teammate Gabriel Bortoleto over a single lap, and with the Barcelona track known to be notoriously difficult for overtaking, his prospects for Sunday looked rather bleak. But with the way the race panned out, his Q1 elimination actually turned out to be a blessing in disguise. Starting 16th on the grid, Hulkenberg made a clean start and used the escape road at turn 1 to avoid contact, climbing up to 11th by the end of an impressive opening lap. On the following tour, he drove past the Aston Martin of Fernando Alonso, propelling his Sauber inside the points. Sauber pulled the trigger early on strategy, bringing Hulkenberg in on lap 9 to cover Ollie Behrman's Haas, who had been running at 14th at the time. In a 66-lap race and on a high-degradation circuit like Barcelona, this should have meant committing to a 3-stop strategy. However, the German drove brilliantly in the middle of the race to eke out 36 laps from his medium tyres, delaying his second pit stop until lap 45. The longest anyone else managed to take the medium tyre was 29 laps. Hulkenberg's incredible middle stint meant he could move on to the 2-stop and also avoid losing time getting lapped by the front runners, and once the second round of pit stops shook out, he was up to 9th place ahead of Alpine's Pierre Gasly. Then came the late safety car. This is where Hulkenberg's Q1 exit actually benefited him, as he had a set of extra soft tyres at his disposal. Nico said, "In the end, being out in Q1 yesterday and having all new fresh tyres was the golden ticket in hindsight, so pretty ironic, but it paid off today." With the benefit of fresh rubber, Hulkenberg breezed past the racing balls of Isaac Hadjar at the restart on lap 61, before setting off after 7-time champion Lewis Hamilton. With just 2 out of 66 laps left to run, the 37-year-old used the assistance of DRS to overtake Hamilton, creating an unfamiliar sight of a Sauber passing a scarlet red Ferrari. He only had to use soft left, Hulkenberg explained. "That's what you see, even though he's in a Ferrari with how important and how powerful the tyres are. He was just sliding around a lot, and I had new boots, which made all the difference." With Verstappen disqualified, Hulkenberg ended the race in 5th position, an incredible result considering the machinery is in. Sauber introduced a comprehensive upgrade package for the weekend, which improved the consistency and balance of the car, giving both drivers more confidence to execute their overall best weekend of the season so far. While it was an utterly incredible race for Hulkenberg, his late race pass on Lewis Hamilton really rammed home the troubles for the new Ferrari driver. Hamilton's weekend started so promisingly when he qualified 5th, a whole 1/10 of a second ahead of his teammate as well, but come Sunday, it was the same old problems for Lewis. He was asked to move out of the way for his significantly quicker teammate, and after that, his only notable contribution to the race was providing Hulkenberg a Ferrari to pass. Before I talk about Hamilton's race though, if you're enjoying the video and want to catch more news and analysis on the 2025 F1 season, then make sure to press the like button and subscribe to F1 Reverse. Thanks a lot. So initially on Sunday, things seemed to be going okay for Hamilton. He managed to make a pass on George Russell around the outside on turn 1 and was then running in 4th position. However, that was as good as it got for Lewis. He was quickly caught by Leclerc in the early phase of the Grand Prix, and Ferrari had to order him to concede 4th place, which he did on lap 10 of 66. He later slipped behind George Russell's Mercedes before Hulkenberg managed to pass him after the safety car restart. That dropped him to 7th place at the flag, and that became 6th after Max Verstappen's 10-second time penalty, but that came as little consolation to Hamilton. He told his Ferrari race engineer Riccardo Adami on the cooldown lap, "Yeah, unbelievable guys. Something wrong with this car, mate. It's the worst it's ever been." It's a line that we've become very familiar with from Hamilton. As his performances at Mercedes started to go downhill, his constant complaints about the car started to grate on the team. Those same negative comments about the car have carried over to Ferrari. However, Leclerc drove the same Ferrari to a podium finish in Spain, the 3rd of the season for the Monegasque, while Hamilton has none. When Sky Sports F1 asked Lewis if he'd tell them how he was feeling and what he was dealing with, he said, "Not particularly, it was just not a good day." He made it clear strategy was good, the team did a great job, but he's just struggling. "What do you want me to say? I've had a really bad day and I've got nothing to say," he told Sky's Rachel Brooks. "It was a difficult day, there was nothing else to add. There's no point explaining it, it's not your fault, what else to say?" Brooks then said she hoped Ferrari would find an answer to what he's struggling with, to which Hamilton replied, "I'm sure they won't, it was probably just me." When Hamilton spoke to the written media later on in the day, he answered a number of questions by simply saying, "I want to go home," until eventually he was ignored by those asking them. From his post-race comments, it seems that Lewis is now at a point where he accepts that perhaps it is his own performances that are becoming the problem, rather than the machinery he's being given. The contrast between him and his teammate is a painful one. Leclerc started 7th on the grid before making good progress to finish on the podium, while Hamilton slipped back a place overall, unable to make an impact on any of the drivers who were ahead of him in the individual standings. Leclerc's under no illusion that he got where he was on pure skill alone. "We were lucky with the safety car, otherwise 4th was our position." But his race pace was far stronger than Hamilton's, and he's without the same self-doubt that Hamilton's "I'm sure they won't find the problem" was probably just me implied. Worryingly for Lewis, the Italian media are starting to turn on him, with Gazzetta dello Sport describing his drive in Spain as not nice. They've given him time so far, but his continued underperformance won't sit well with the passionate voice of the Tifosi. Nico Rosberg's words on Hamilton's performance may have been some of the most damning. Lewis's ex-teammate, who knows him better than most, admitted that he has grave concerns for what he described as a shockingly bad race. "It's hard to watch. Sunday was a horrible day for him because he was just slow out there, which is very unusual. Yes, sometimes he's off in qualifying, but in races he's usually really awesome, and the race was shockingly bad. He doesn't have answers either. When you don't have any answers, it's really tough as a driver. Then you see your teammate race their way to the 3rd place on the podium. In light of the whole season he's had so far, it's a very dark situation." Do you agree with what Rosberg has to say about Hamilton? Is it really as bad as he says? And what do you think of Hulkenberg's incredible race? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and until next time, drive safe and bye for now.